Okay, here we have a system with three variables, right? And so we're going to continue doing the same process by taking these three variables and eliminating one variable, and then we'll end up with two two variable equations, which is what we did in the other video. So in this particular case, so we also now have three equations, right? Where we initially had only two. So in this case, we want to make sure that we're involving all three equations in the process because we're trying to solve the three variables that work for all three equations. So as before though as well, there is no like straight approach in terms of what way is better. You just try to pick an equation or two equations, sorry, and cancel out the variable that you believe is going to be the easiest. So as I like scan through these three equations, I'm like, okay, you know what? I like these two to start off. So one of them's already positive 2x, the other one's negative 2x. So if I take equation 3 and multiply by negative 2, or sorry, multiply it by 2, I'll have negative 2x here and 2x here. So when I add them together, they'll cancel out. So because I know that I'm not going to touch equation 2, I'm just going to rewrite it, right? So I'm just going to rewrite it real quick. Plus 3z equals 0. Now, I'm going to write equation 3. However, I'm going to sort of already multiply it by that number I was looking for. So 2 times negative x plus 2y. So now I've set it up so that I'm going to multiply, right? So I'm going to have my new 3 equation right here. So that's going to be negative 2x minus 4y plus, whoa, I was over here thinking I was multiplied by negative 2. Give me 1 second. All right, so negative 2x plus 4y minus 10z. That's multiplying it by 2, not negative 2. And then 17 times 2 is 34. Okay, now I'm going to take equation 2 and equation 3 and add them together. So as you can see, everything's lined up. I just need to add them together. So I'm going to just draw one more line so I can have my results right below that. So 2x minus 2x is 0. So I'm not going to write anything. Then y plus 4y, that's 5y. And then 3z plus negative 10z, that's going to give me minus 7z equals 34. So this is my new equation that I'm going to have to add with another new equation I'm about to come up with. So what I'm going to do now is, you see, I've only touched equation 2 and 3. I need to touch equation 1. So I'm going to start off by writing that because I don't want to miss it out, right? I don't want to miss out and in not touching the one that I haven't touched yet. So 4x minus 3y plus z equals negative 10. So now I've set that up. Now my question is, I need to eliminate x like I did with the other two so that I'm left with y and z. But now which other equation is going to help me do that? Is it going to be equation 2 or 3? And in my mind, I'm going to go ahead and stick with equation 3 simply because, again, it already has a negative and my equation 1 starts with a positive 4x. So that means when I add them together, it's going to help me out. So I'm going to write equation 3. This time I'm going to multiply it by 4 because negative 4x plus 4x is going to cancel out. So that is what I have in mind. Okay, now let's try this. Now, unfortunately, though, 17 times 4 is a bigger number. We'll see if I can multiply it in my head right now. I don't have a calculator right in front of me. So that's negative 4x plus 8y minus 20z equals, I think that's, well, 17 times 2 was 34. This is probably going to be 68 then, because we're going to do another 2. I'm hoping my math isn't wrong, but I mean, we'll see. So now what I've done is I created my new equation 3, but now I have to add it to 1, right? I haven't added it to 1 yet, so I'm going to add them together, and I'm going to go straight down, right? So 4x minus 4x, I'm going to draw a line. That's 0x, so I'm not going to worry about that. Then negative 3y plus 8y, That's 5y, right? I have the negative 3 from right here. And then lastly, we have negative 19z because that's z plus negative 20z. And then at the end, we have negative 10 plus 68. That should be 58. And I come up with my second new equation. All I have to do now is do what I did in that first video if you watched it, and that is now to use these two to eliminate one variable. And as you can see, I can already see 5y here and 5y here, so I'm going to eliminate y. That's going to be my easiest. But just to stay organized, I'm going to go ahead and just write them here. I'm going to actually write them without multiplying anything. That way you know exactly what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. Okay, I think I copied everything correctly. And then there you go. I'm going to just call this my new equation 1 and equation 2. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to just take equation 2 though, and I'm going to multiply it by negative. Actually, I'm going to multiply equation 1 by negative because 34 being negative is better than me having negative 58 in my own mind. Who knows? So I'm going to multiply negative to equation 1. So negative 5y plus 7z, okay, equals negative 34. Now that I've done that, now I have the ability to add these two together. Equation 2 and then my new equation 1. So I'm going to add them together, draw a line, and 5y minus 5y cancel out. Negative 19z plus 7z, I believe that's going to be 12z, I guess, negative 12z, if my math is correct, and then equals 58 minus 34. Wowzers. What is that? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Is that 24? It's got to be 24. So that's going to be 24 right there. And then I'm going to solve for z. Now we're back to just solving for one variable. So I'm going to solve for z. And to be honest, I'm not going to do all the math because I asked myself, what does z have to be so that when I multiply it to negative 12, it gives me 24. That's just negative 2. Negative 12 times negative 2 will give me 24. So there's my z. There you go. I've solved for one variable. Now I need my x and my y. I can go ahead and plug this back into any one of these two equations right here. Right? I want to plug it into any one of these two equations to solve for my y. So I'm going to choose equation 1 just because it's got smaller numbers. So I'll do the work right here. So 5y minus 7, not z, but negative 2, right, equals 34. So I plugged in my negative 2 in for z now because I have it. So I have 5y plus 14 equals 34. And then I'm left with 5y equals 34 minus 14. I believe that is 20. Now I'm not going to do hardcore math right there. 5 times y equals 4 is 20. So if my y equals 4, that would be 20. So y equals 4. Again, all I did then, that last step and a half is just algebra, right? I subtract 14 to both sides, then divide by 5. Now I have my y and my z. All you want to do with these two now is plug back into the original. That means the original 3 we originally started with way at the beginning. So right here on my left-hand side, choose any one of these 3 to plug in y and z into to get your x, and then you would be done. I'm going to go ahead and plug it into my third one because my third equation only has an x. I don't have to do any crazy division at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and write negative x plus 2y, but y is already something. Y is 4, right? Plus 2 times 4 minus 5z, but we already have z, and z is negative 2, equals 17. That's us plugging it back into that last equation, equation 3. And let's do some math here. So negative x plus 8 plus negative 5 times negative 2 is 10, equals 17. So negative x plus 18 equals 17. I'm running out of space here, so I'm going to change color so that we don't get confused. Then doing some math, I'm left with negative x equals, I'm going to subtract 18 to the other side. That's negative 1. right? So then that means in order for this statement to be true, my x has to equal 1. And if my x is 1, then I'd be left with -1 equals -1, and that's true. So that's how I got my answer. But again, you can do your math to figure that out. If this were the test, or if this is on the test, which by the way it is, right? A similar problem, just leave it like this: x, y, z, circle them, square them, whatever it is, and then you're done. You are done. Okay, so just practice a couple more of these. You can look on Khan Academy. You can find a bunch of examples online. Practice a few, and you will be 100% confident in being able to do this type of problem. Okay, at the very least, please pause the video, practice this one again, check your answers, check your work, etc. But try to get somewhere with it, okay? With that being said, I'll upload this and hopefully it helps.